Lines settled over him like a soft whisper, resonating with an intimacy that made him feel exposed. She seemed to possess an insight that went beyond mere observation, as if her words carried an understanding of his inner self that he had never fully confronted. Max took a deep breath, struggling to find his footing. "I suppose I've grown too accustomed to routines," he admitted, his voice betraying a hint of vulnerability. "Work, late nights, minimal social interactions. It's predictable." Zir's gaze softened, her eyes reflecting a depth that transcended anything he'd seen in human eyes. Predictability provides comfort, especially for those who live intensely in the mind. But even the mind craves change, a breath of unpredictability to remind it that life exists beyond logic and structure. Max blinked, momentarily speechless. Her words felt like they were spoken not just to him, but to some hidden part of himself that he'd long ignored. "Do Altar speak this way?" he asked, attempting levity, though he couldn't quite mask the unease beneath it. Her smile was gentle, patient. Communication, for us, extends beyond language. We're trained to perceive and reflect the emotional undercurrents that others might not see within themselves. It is our way of building trust and connection, which we consider fundamental in any interaction." A quiet thrill of awe ran through him as he absorbed her words. Here was a creature who could sense the emotional landscape he worked so hard to control. Yet, instead of judging or misinterpreting his reserve, she respected it. They stood in silence for a few moments, the hum of the city beyond the windows blending with the soft ambient tones of his apartment's automated systems. Zir took a step closer, her eyes taking in the various artifacts and objects around the room. Her gaze lingered on a framed photograph of a much younger Max beside an older man with a kind face and piercing blue eyes. "Is this someone important to you?" she asked softly, gesturing toward the photo. Max's face softened. "That's my father. He was my role model. Taught me everything I know about being resilient, about pushing boundaries. He passed away a few years back." Zir inclined her head in a silent gesture of respect. "I can see traces of his influence in you, the tenacity, the drive. These qualities are evident in the work you've accomplished. But tell me, Max, when do you rest?" The question caught him off guard, and he let out a small, self-conscious laugh. "Rest? I'm not sure I'd know what to do with myself if I did." "Perhaps that is why I am here," she said, a subtle hint of warmth in her tone. "Not merely as an assistant, but as a reminder. Life exists in the spaces between progress and ambition." Max felt a strange relief in her words, as if she'd given him permission to step back, if only for a moment. He managed to smile. "Well, I guess I could use the reminder. But I also need to know, Zir, are you comfortable here? Among humans? I mean, this whole program is supposed to be a cultural exchange, but I imagine Earth must feel quite different." Zir's bioluminescent skin shimmered in subtle hues, reflecting her thoughtful expression. "It is different, yes. Humans experience the world so vividly. Each emotion, each thought creates ripples. In Tar society, we are trained to live harmoniously with our internal landscapes. Here I am exposed to the rawness of human nature, the passion and conflict that make each of you so beautifully unique." Her answer both surprised and comforted him. There was a quiet bravery in her willingness to embrace humanity's messiness, to confront the challenges of integration that he himself hadn't fully grasped until now. He took a step forward, feeling a surge of empathy and gratitude for her presence. I think it has the potential to change more than just our technology or our cultural understanding," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "Maybe it's a chance to understand ourselves better." Zir's expression softened, and for a moment the two of them stood in silent accord, each recognizing a profound truth they hadn't expected to encounter that night. They had been brought together for a purpose larger than either of them could yet see, and for the first time in years, Max felt a strange, thrilling sense of possibility. "Thank you, Zir," he said quietly, aware of the depth of meaning in those simple words. She inclined her head, her gaze filled with a quiet wisdom. "The journey has just begun, Max. We have much to learn from each other and from this world." And as they stood together, the city lights painting shadows on the walls around them, Max felt that, for the first time, he was truly stepping into the unknown. But he wasn't stepping alone.